right, so my wife Pixie and I, we've been married 40 years. The only reason why I do this is because it's the only place I can get in 5 minutes uninterrupted. We're Italian and a lot of the stereotypes hold. Pixie especially, she talks with her hands a lot. Sometimes she looks like she's trying to land planes on an aircraft carrier. She broke her wrist a couple of years ago and she developed a speech impediment. She just stood there going, People often ask me, how did I find the perfect girl? We're married 40 years, so you know something's got to be right. So the story goes, we were out to eat, we're at a steakhouse. Pixie takes a hunk of steak, shoves it in a pie hole. She starts choking. Before I could get up to help her, she sticks a whole hand in her mouth and she pulls the chunk of steak out. At that point, I knew she was the perfect girl for me, and I ran out and bought an engagement ring the very next day. Do you know that Italians are the original Amazon? When you grew up Italian in Brooklyn, everybody's got a guy. The only difference is there's no return policy. You know, Pixie went through menopause. It was an interesting time for us. And a lot of it was spent playing with the thermostat. She'd make it cold, I'd warm it up. She would just take clothes off because she was sweating all over the place. So I asked her, I said, what is going on? What's this menopause like? She said, well, it's sort of like an internal fire. And I said, oh, I get it. It's like when I eat a very spicy meal. Everything faded to black. I woke up a half hour later and she was standing over me with a frying pan. There's 4 stages to marriage. The first stage is newlywed. A lot of playful banter, a lot of sexual innuendo. You're going at it like rabbits. You can't get enough of each other. The second stage is happy. The sex is good and it's frequent. What do you get? The kids banging at the door. Hey, we hear mommy yelling Yahtzee. We want in. We want to play too. The third stage is amused. You're feeling kind of amorous. You look at each other. You run to the bedroom. You rip your clothes off. And you just start cracking up because, well, gravity's a bitch. And finally, there's that tolerance stage. That playful banter of your youth has turned into a bit of bickering. You still have sex. I just like to call it hallway sex. You walk by each other in the hall and go, screw you. You know, aging is not an easy thing. It's kind of worse than puberty. I'd actually rather deal with pimples than arthritis. So, you know, you go to bed and you're fine, and you wake up and you feel like you've been through a triple overtime game 7. You just feel beat up, everything hurts. And at this point in my life, it now takes me longer to start peeing than to actually pee. And when I do, it's like this series of urinary dots and dashes. It's like Morse code. Ships at sea have started to respond. There's 4 rules to aging. 1 is you never pass a bathroom up. 2, you never waste an erection. 3, you never get down on the floor without a plan to get back up. And 4th and finally is you never trust a fart. So people have asked me, like, when did you know you were getting old? I said, well, it really drove itself home the first time I sat on the toilet and my balls splashed down. There's you can see I've got a couple tattoos. And we're sitting in the backyard and Pixie looks down and she says, why did you get 3 lines tattooed above your knee? And I said, well, you remember when the kids were young, we would draw lines on the door jamb to chart their growth. She said, I understand, but what's with the lines? I said, well, Pixie, I'm actually measuring the impact of gravity on my balls. She says, why the dotted line? I said, well, at that point, I have to stop wearing shorts. Dotted line. So, you know, one of the things that's sort of odd about getting old is, you know, you lose some of your friends, but you gain a whole new group of people, your doctors. So now I've got this team of doctors that I never had before. One of them passes away suddenly, my cardiologist, and I get invited to a memory of life, whatever, a celebration of life. So I go to the celebration of life, I walk in, there's the casket, and behind the casket is a giant heart. And it's all made of red roses. It's absolutely beautiful. So we're there, and everybody does their eulogies, and I hear laughing coming from the back of the room. I walk back there very slowly, and I said to the guy, I don't understand. This is a very solemn occasion. What are you laughing about? He says, well, my friend, I have to tell you, my name is Dr. Tim Patel, and I was thinking of my own funeral. You see, I'm a gynecologist. Some of you will get that on the way home. So I've had 6 separate back surgeries, and when Pixie is asked how I'm doing and she starts explaining the surgery, she goes, well, he had a thoracic decompression infusion, and that was in January, and then in March he had to go back and get his cervix fused. Now, I don't have a cervix, but I could imagine getting that fused must be a very painful thing. I have one more jokey joke for you. I was trying to make a little extra money, and I was driving Uber. And I go to Sarasota, get my first pickup, and it's a nun. Sister gets in the car, and I'm staring at Sister. Sister's looking up, staring at me. And she says, why do you keep staring at me? I said, well, Sister, you have to understand, I'm a Catholic schoolboy, and I've always had fantasy about making out with a nun. Sister says, well, if you're single and you're Catholic, I'll make out with you. So I get in the back, and Sister and I are making out. She's kissing me like a drunk girl on prom night. So I get out, get in the front, and we're driving. And I said, Sister, I have to tell you, I'm feeling a little guilty. I have to make a confession. She goes, what is it, my son? I said, well, Sister, to be honest, I'm actually married, and I'm Jewish. Sister says, it's okay, sweetie, my name is Kevin, and I'm on my way to a Halloween party. All right, thanks, everyone. That's my time.